Good day and welcome to Weather or Not. There's a chill in the air and it feels a bit like fall weather is near. Tyler joins me tonight with details on the weekend forecast and beyond. Also, a new department, the Center on Solutions to Weather and Climate Risk, has formed here in the Department of Meteorology at Penn State. And Christy stops by later with an interview with the director of the new program, Dr. David Titley. All this plus your Nature in the News, trivia, and more, Weather or Not begins now. Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Travis Patterson.
And I'm your forecaster, Tyler Jankoski.
Well, Tyler, Labor Day came and went, and along with it, it brought some very interesting and at some points dangerous weather to our region here.
Yes, we certainly had some active weather on Labor Day. We did have a couple of severe warnings, but for the most part, outside of some flooding in a couple of areas, there wasn't widespread damage across the area. That is good news. And even better news is we are finally settling into a fall-like pattern as we start off September with much lower dew points. I know over the weekend dew points were in the lower 70s in some areas, so it was oppressive outside. But now dew points are in the 50s, great sleeping weather, and some sunny skies to go along with that dry air.
All right, well, some relief in the forecast. Tyler will have more details on that in just a moment. But for now, let's jump into Nature in the News.
We start Nature in the News with an interesting scientific find concerning frogs, one of the world's smallest frogs, the Gardner's Seychelles frog to be exact. For years, scientists have wondered how the frog species could hear without having ears. Most frogs don't have an outer ear like we do, but instead have an inner ear with an eardrum located directly on the surface of the head. Sending out pre-recorded frog sounds through loudspeakers in their natural habitat, researchers noted male frogs answered the songs, proving that they were able to hear the sounds in some way. They found through X-ray images that these tiny 1 centimeter long frogs use their mouth like a resonator or amplifier, increasing the frequencies emitted and received through the frogs' heads.
Switching senses now to sight, a company in San Francisco has released photos of its Dove line of spacecraft, a project consisting of tiny satellites planned to launch a few months from now to form the world's largest constellation of Earth-observing satellites. These satellites are tiny compared to other satellites, only about the size of a shoebox. The difference with these miniature satellites is their very low orbit, providing high-resolution, low-cost imagery of the Earth's surface. The first test launch of one of the satellites, Dove 1, actually burned up in the atmosphere after less than a week due to its low orbit around the Earth, but not before providing images with an incredible resolution of 3 to 5 meters. The San Francisco company hopes to apply these satellites to monitor deforestation, track national disasters, and many other applications in the immediate future.
Over 4 decades ago, the Clean Air Act was enacted by the EPA, and after years of analyzing trees in the Appalachian Mountains, researchers have found that red cedar trees are growing faster than expected. Specifically, red cedar trees between 120 and 500 years old show changes in the types of carbon and sulfur in their rings. The Clean Air Act set air quality standards for 6 pollutants, including carbon monoxide, lead, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. Now, before the act, the Appalachians were a bullseye for pollution due to a large number of power plants along the Ohio Valley. Analysis of the tree rings showed the tree's stomata, much like the pores of our skin, openings that regulate exchange of carbon dioxide and water, were closing. Now, studies of the tree rings show the stomata began to reopen in the 1980s, and slowly they've continued to open, allowing photosynthesis and growth of the trees to accelerate.
While driving through the red cedar trees of the Appalachians, one car offers a safety feature just in time for deer season. The Mercedes-Benz 2014 S-Class is introducing a new product this fall, the Night View Assist. The Night View Assist is a combination of 2 infrared cameras that see what the driver is unable to see with the naked eye and transmits that in a black and white image. A far infrared camera is in the car's grille and scans for warm-blooded animals that are out of the normal range of headlights, while a near-infrared camera on the windshield takes an image of the road. Both of these cameras combine their images and highlight objects, animals, or even rocks that may be ahead in the road, making driving when it's dark considerably safer. Unlike driving with a spotlight, however, these infrared cameras do not blind oncoming traffic because infrared light is part of the electromagnetic spectrum that is invisible to the human eye. All right, Tyler, let's take a look at the forecast. How's it looking this weekend?
Well, thanks, Travis. We certainly have some nice weather in store for us here in Center County over the next couple of days. Let's have a look. Here's the setup on Friday. High pressure in control. And you know what a big blue H means. Delightful weather. We'll have sunny skies all day on Friday. And even as we head into Saturday, check this out. The high only moves a bit offshore over the southern New England area, and we'll still be left with sunny skies on Saturday for the home opener against Eastern Michigan at Beaver Stadium. But look off to the north and west, another cold front on the approach, and this front will have clouds and a couple of showers associated with it. So Saturday night into early on Sunday, there will likely be some light shower activity across the center region, and you see that right here on Sunday, the front passing through the state. High pressure, though, in its wake, so Sunday afternoon will not be a washout. Neither will all day on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, we'll probably see partly cloudy skies. So even though Saturday is the pick of the week, Sunday afternoon will be perfectly okay for outdoor activities. So let's break things down in detail on Friday. Sunny skies, a high of 71, so a couple of degrees below the average high, but it's still going to be gorgeous. Go out and enjoy it. Friday night, definitely no need for AC. You may even have to close the windows just a bit with a low of 46 degrees. Clear skies, and then on Saturday for the football game, mostly sunny skies. Perhaps a couple more clouds in the afternoon as the front approaches, but notice a high of 80 degrees, so quite a moderation for Saturday. And then Saturday night into Sunday, once again, a couple of showers moving into the area, all in association with that cold front. The low will be around 64 degrees. For the day on Sunday, definitely not a washout, but perhaps a few leftover showers in the morning. A high of 76 degrees with partly cloudy skies by afternoon. We'll have more in just a couple of minutes.
Back to school here at Penn State, which means new students and new faculty. The meteorology department is looking towards the future by starting a center for solutions to weather and climate risk. The department brought in Rear Admiral Titley to be the founding director for the center. I sat down with him recently to talk about this exciting new center.
We call it the Center for Solutions to Weather and Climate Risk. And the reason I put solutions up so far forward in the title is really that's what I want to emphasize. There's a lot of people who tell you, geez, the climate is changing and it's going to be bad, and this is going to be bad, and there's risk here and there's risk there. And there is. I don't mean to underplay that. But what I'm really interested in is, given the changes that we have, and even just given today's variability in weather, how do we best use all of the information that we have today, not the information we might have in 15 years or 20 years, but the information we have today so that we can make the best decisions possible, so that either if you're running a business, you can make the best business decisions. If you're running a small, let's say a town or a municipal government, you can make sure you're taking care of your citizens, and really even up to the federal government, so that we're making the right policy and the right kind of budget decisions. We're putting our money where it's really the smartest place to put it, taking into account the variability in the weather, taking into account, frankly, the tremendous advances that we have made over the last 10, 15, 20 years in numerical weather prediction, but translating that value all the way through to predictions. So I call this counting the cards in nature's casino. Because if you really think of the outdoor space, it's really nature's casino, and weather is really the cards you get dealt out of the climate deck. So you can kind of think about it that way. Any given day, you got dealt a set of cards. Well, For some of you who might have played blackjack, you know that if you can count the cards, you can get an advantage. It's one of the few ways you can kind of try to beat the casino. Now, I'm not saying we're going to beat Mother Nature, but I think we can get that advantage.
An important part of the center is education, and it will reach far beyond the University Park campus.
Very hard at classes, and in fact, one of the main components of our center that we're very, very excited about is a big, further continued push on what we call e-education, or the online education. So Professor David Babb is running that as part of the center there, and you may know that we are working very hard to get a certificate out for weather and climate risk, and we're looking to see whether that would in fact lead to like a professional master's. The thing we're looking at is not only sort of training the hardcore weather people, the hardcore meteorologists, but how do you train the users? How do you train the people who have needs so that they can be conversant, they can understand also that we're working at Nature's Casino. So we're looking at classes, and especially online classes, because we see that's where the real growth is. So that's what we're working on now. I am sure that components of this are coming into the traditional classroom, and several professors have asked me to do specific guest lectures for them in classes. So even as soon as this semester, I'll be doing.
I want to thank Rear Admiral Titley for sitting down with me to talk about this new center, and also on behalf of the meteorology students here, we would wish him a warm welcome to the department. For Weather or Not, I'm Christy Shields.
Well, let's get one last look at that weekend forecast. Here it is. On Friday, we'll have sunny and cool conditions with a high of only 71 degrees. Notice Saturday morning, we dip all the way into the upper 40s, so definitely no need for AC, and you may even have to close the window just a bit because it will be quite chilly Saturday morning, and by Saturday afternoon, it will be sunny, noticeably warmer with a high of 80 degrees, and it's also the home opener at Beaver Stadium for the Penn State Nittany Lions. The weather is looking delightful. As we head into Saturday night and early on Sunday, a cold front comes into the picture. We'll have a couple of scattered showers around, but by Sunday afternoon, the weather does improve and we'll have slightly cooler temperatures with a high of 76 degrees. Here's a look at that extended forecast. Take a look to start off the new work week on Monday. Mostly sunny skies, temperatures just a bit below average. On Tuesday and Wednesday, it does become a bit more unsettled with some fronts passing through the area. A cold front on Wednesday could bring some showers and thunderstorms with temperatures around 80 degrees, so a bit above average midweek next week. And then to close out the work week on Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny skies. Overall, a bit unsettled next week for the second week of September, but definitely seasonable.
Well, Tyler, it looks like this weekend we see a preview of some fall-like weather. Gets you geared up for football season, but we actually want to turn back to the Weather Whiz quiz in which we asked you earlier, what is the average high temperature range for State College from the 1st of September to the end of the month? Is it A, 8 degrees, B, 11 degrees, C, 13 degrees, or D, 18 degrees Fahrenheit? And the answer is B, 11 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, Tyler, the beginning of the month, we see an average high of around 78 degrees, but by the end of the month, that average is knocked down to a cool 67 degrees.
Yeah, not only are we losing the warmth as September progresses, but we're losing daylight. In fact, the sunset time is getting earlier by a minute or so each day, and the sunrise time is getting later by a minute or so. So not only are we losing daylight, the days are getting shorter, but the temperatures are beginning to cool off as we move through September. The autumnal equinox is actually on September 22nd this year. But the good news, even though summer is drifting away in the rearview mirror, football is back in Happy Valley this weekend.
All right, we'll end on that good note to look forward to this weekend. That about wraps it up for this show of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Travis Patterson.
And I'm your forecaster, Tyler Jankoski.
Have a great day.
Go Penn State.